What's happening, guys? Today we are going to be doing PPC part 3. A lot of you liked 1 and 2, and so I thought, let me make part 3. And this is really going to answer a lot of the common questions I've been getting lately. You guys have been asking things like, how do I know if I'm doing a good job with PPC? Or my ACoS is a bit high, how do I actually optimize that? Or even better, do I need to optimize my ACoS? What exact metrics do I need to look at to optimize my PPC? And really, can you give us more advanced content on PPC itself? So if you haven't seen part 1 or 2, I do urge you to go watch those just so you have a good baseline to work from before this. And I'm going to link those below for you. But today I'm really going to be answering those questions I just mentioned, and we're going to be doing this with the help of a benchmarking tool. Now you can get this benchmarking tool below from my link in the description, and it's absolutely free. The only cost is to go follow us over on Instagram at official Dan Rogers. Remember, Rogers has a D, but I'd love to see you guys over there. But you can follow along through this session and actually check your own metrics. So what is a benchmarker? Well, what this is going to allow you to do is have reference for your performance. It's very easy to get kind of lost in working on your PPC, not knowing if you're doing a good job, if you're doing enough, if you should be stopping certain activities. And what this is going to do is compare your performance to your competitors. You're going to be able to see how well you're doing overall. But more than that, we're going to be able to dive into metrics. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. Not just an overview of this tool, but I'm going to be breaking down very important metrics, CPC, CVR, ACoS, what those actually mean and what you can tactically do to improve each. So let's begin. So on screen here, you can see the Select benchmarker. If we scroll down, you can see we get really important metrics and data points for not only our campaigns, but for individual products. We can see ACoS, conversion rates, click-through rates, cost per click. And all of this is going to be very, very helpful, not only in just optimizing your performance and sales, but perhaps you have not such a good ACoS. If you have a poor ACoS, then you can actually see, okay, maybe it's my conversion rate, because against my competitors, that's not doing well. Or perhaps it's cost per click, because again here we're not performing well. So it's going to give you a lot of insights, usable insights like that you can take action on and begin improving your products, your overall sales, but of course also your PPC campaigns. So how can you get this info? Well, this is step number 1, and this is to sign up. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below, and you're going to sign up for the Select benchmarker. Again, it's totally free. And then you're going to sign up, as you can see on screen here. You're going to have to fill in some information about your business, and then you're simply going to link your Amazon account so that it can pull in data. It needs to be able to pull data from your actual account to give you this type of insight. And that can take some time to actually pull in that data, but once it is done, you're going to see something like you can see on screen here with the benchmarker. You're going to have your individual product insights, but you're also going to have overviews like this of your performance from the past 30 days. So what does all of this data mean? Well, number 2, this is the basics. The first thing to note, benchmarker pulls data for the past 60 days, 2 months, but it represents to you data from the past 30 days, the past month. This way it's able to actually compare your data from the prior month, the first 30 days, to the current past 30 days. And that's what it's going to present you, past 30-day performance. So here we can see our overall performance, our ad spend, impressions, our clicks, our conversions, and our ad sales. And if we scroll down, we can actually see the split between sponsored brands and sponsored products, which are 2 ways of running PPC on Amazon. Now, sponsored products is the one we're very familiar with, as you can see here. This is generally running campaigns based on keywords we think will convert, and we're very familiar with that. That's most important. But over here, you can see sponsored brands, and this is going to be things like product collection, where you're driving customers to a landing page with your products on it, or store spotlight, where you're driving customers to your store where you have your products on there, or it could even just be video ads, as you've seen are often on the results pages. those auto running video ads are another way to run sponsored brands. So it's less of a concern for most of us here, but it is represented in your Select report. So step number 3, this is our sponsored products performance. So scrolling down from here, you can see sponsored products and you have an overall score. This is good performance in this regard. But here, what's most important is we actually see the individual metrics of the account overall. So our ACoS is 25%, but that of our competitors, an average from our competitors, is 24%. And you can see the same for cost per click, click-through rate, and conversion rate. So you're getting your account score here, and you're getting the category average. This is your competitor's average. So you know if you're above, below, or the same as your competitors here. And in general here, remember with ACoS, the lower, the better. With cost per click, the lower, the better. With click-through rate, the higher the better, and with conversion rate, the higher the better. So here our ACoS is slightly above average. It's not great, but it's not far off the average either. Our average CPC, or cost per click, is higher than the category average, and that's not so good. However, this could be because we are aggressively targeting certain keywords, and it actually makes our ACoS number a little bit more favorable because we know we're paying much more per click, but our ACoS is not that far off the average. But overall, our CPC is higher than the average. Our click-through rate is much higher than the category average, and this is really good. We want a higher CTR. We want to be getting more clicks than our competitors, and that is the case here. Our conversion rate is almost double that of our competitors and the category average, which is also very good. So customers are choosing to buy our product much more than our competitors. So how can we actually use this data? Well, on the right hand side here, you can actually see this little expand plus. And if we click on that, it is going to bring up, number one, another comparison to the category average, but more importantly, our individual products here. So we can actually see per product, the ACoS, which ones are performing well, which ones are underperforming. And so we're not just getting a kind of account overview, which is not that helpful. We're able to go in here and actually look at these metrics. And what's even more important here is you can see the sub-categorization of your product. So it's not pet supplies overall, but all the way down to carriers and travel products. And this benchmark over here, this category average, is for the sub-niche. So you're able to look at your individual product sub-niche, the category average there, what your competitors are generally getting there, and compare it to your score on this product. So you can see the category average in the sub-niche is 20.4%, and our ACoS is 46.7% on this product. So it's much, much higher, and we could definitely optimize this ACoS lower. Then you can also see a range here on the far right. This represents the middle 60% of sellers in the sub-niche. So if yours is below this bottom end, 9%, it means you're in the lowest 20% of sellers in that sub-niche. If it's above the highest end, again, you're in the top 20% of sellers in that niche. So here you can see our ACoS is in the top 20%, which is not a good thing because you don't want a very high ACoS, but that is how the range works. This range shows the middle 60%, just so you have a good reference. 20% on either side, lower or higher. Step number 4, we're actually going to look at our ACoS performance. Now, for those of you not familiar, ACoS, ACoS, stands for Advertising Cost of Sales. Now, when you run ads on Amazon, you're running PPC. Of course, what happens is you get clicks, you get sales. You're making ad sales, you're making revenue. Now, once you've made that revenue, what ACoS is what percentage of that revenue that you made, what percentage of that did you initially spend on ads to make that sales revenue? That is what ACoS is, the percentage of ad revenue that you initially spent on the ads to make that ad revenue. The lower, the better, because that leaves more revenue on the table. So if you want a calculation for this, it's really ad spend divided by ad sales times 100, and that is going to give you your ACoS percentage. The lower, the better. Now, the key thing with ACoS is how it affects profits on ad sales. Remember, ACoS only affects profits on ad sales, not organic sales. So from your sponsored listing, those sales are affected by ACoS, and they are affected in this way. You're going to take your profit margin. Remember, we often aim for a 40% profit margin on products. So take your profit margin before you've considered ads. Let's say it was 40%. You're then going to deduct your ACoS percentage, and that is going to give you your profits when selling through ads. It is your ad sales profit margin. So if we apply numbers to that, let's say your profit margin was 40% and your ACoS was 40%. Well, now you're making a 0% profit when selling through ads. So your ad sales have zero profit and you are breaking even. Now, that doesn't mean your account overall is not profitable. It just means your sales through ads are not profitable. Because remember, your organic listing somewhere else could be making full profit sales. But let's say you optimize that ACoS, and this is why everyone wants to optimize their ACoS. Let's say your ACoS was 20% instead. Well, now we take 40 minus 20 is 20%. So now your profit margin when selling through ads is 20%. And so you can see why knowing what your ACoS is and how to improve it can be so key, especially when you're optimizing the business for profit. And now advanced ACoS. So here I wanted to answer some of the more advanced questions I've been getting on ACoS, when to optimize and whether to optimize as well. Now, it's not always the best practice to aim to lower your ACoS. When you launch a product, your ACoS is going to be very high, and it might be for weeks, even months. And that's because you're trying to get keyword ranking on certain keywords that might be quite competitive, and you're not converting that well because you don't have reviews, etc. But there are also other times where you shouldn't only be focusing on lowering your ACoS. Remember, ACoS, as we just went through, only impacts sales through ads. And so what you can do is use PPC and perhaps a higher ACoS to gain more market share, to scale your business, to take up more positions on more keywords and solidify more keyword ranking with, yes, maybe a break-even ad profit because your ACoS is quite high. But when doing that, you're able to raise your organic listing up on all of those keywords because you're making sales on those keywords, and therefore you make profit through the organic listing, even though the sponsored listing is often not profitable. And so in this way, some sellers who have a very low ACoS, they've been working on optimizing that, they have a low ACoS, but they also don't have the best organic ranking, and they're not ranking on all these different keywords. They often make less sales, although they have a lower ACoS, and they end up with less profit than a different seller who has quite a high ACoS, but they have positions across the board, they have more organic ranking, but they are not making any profit through the ad sales, but they've raised that organic ranking on all these different places, so they are making more sales overall and more profit overall. So PPC is a tool that you want to use, and ACoS is not always the best thing to be optimizing to get that low. Now, that said, once you do have your products ranking in very good positions on multiple keywords, at that point it is a good idea to start optimizing ACoS, because now you can enjoy more profit on your sales through ads. But here, a much more important metric, especially for those of you looking to take market share and more sales rather than just optimize your ACoS as low as possible, a more important metric for you and for everyone is TACoS, which is TACoS or TACoS. And this stands for Total Advertising Cost of Sales. And it basically represents of your total revenue, all the sales you make, ad sales and organic sales together, how much of that number as a percentage are you spending on ads to make that number of sales? So let's run a quick example here. Let's say this is for the past 30 days. Your organic profit margin is 40%. Your ACoS is also 40%. So of course you're not making any profit through the ad sales. Your ad spend is $10,000. Your ad sales, or the sales you made through ads, is $25,000. Your organic sales, because you've got a lot of organic ranking now by running those ads on different keywords, your organic sales are $40,000. And of course, your total sales are $65,000. Now we know the ACoS is 40%, but what about the TACoS? Well, here's how you can calculate that. Take your ad spend for the period divided by total sales for that period. Remember, that's organic and ad sales, total sales, times 100, and you're going to have your TACoS. So although on first look it might look like this seller's ACoS is way too high, they're in a stage of growth and taking more market share. And actually, as a percentage of overall revenue, it's not 40% going to ads, it's 15%. So what you can do once you have your tacos is you can actually go profit margin, that's the initial profit margin you had, minus your TACoS, and that gives you your net profit margin after all ad spend, etc. So in this case, 40% minus 15% is 25%. So this seller in this month made a 25% profit, and that in this case would be $16,250, although their ACoS is 40%. So now that you know a bit about ACoS and what that actually means, let's get back to the benchmarker. Now again, we're on ACoS here and we're just in the expanded view, but as you can see, now we have more reference for this ACoS. Now let's pretend, as before, each of these products has a 40% profit margin. Well, we can see product 1, we're actually making a loss of 6.7% per sale we make through an ad. Here, we're making a profit of 17% when we sell through ads. Here, we're making a really healthy profit of 30% even when we sell through ads. Here, we're actually just breaking even on sales through ads. And here, we're only making about 7% profit on sales through ads. And so you can see how that calculation gives you more reference on knowing what's profitable when you sell it through an ad and what's not profitable when you sell through ads. So in this case, if we're optimizing and we're looking to get more profits through ad sales, we definitely need to work on product number 1 and product number 4. Those are our poorest performers here. Now, anytime you're here, you can also click on advanced view, as you can see, and that's going to bring up ad spend for that product in the period, as well as ad sales and the total orders. So you can click that as well anytime you need. So how do we go about optimizing performance? If that's the stage we're at, we're in PPC part 3 here, how do we optimize? Well, to do this, we need to look at the other metrics that Selix is going to give us. Step number 5, this is CPC performance, or cost per click performance. So if we now come down to the cost per click metric here, we can expand this and we can see a comparison again, but more importantly, our CPC. And we can see product 1 has a very high cost per click when we compare it to the competitors in that same sub niche. Remember, we are going down to the sub niche for these data points. Now the average is 30 cents. We're paying $1.90 average cost per click, which is very high. Here we're also paying above the 20 cent average. Here we're on par at the 20 cent average. Here we're again above that. And here we're actually below the average cost per click. So again, number 1 is a poor performer. And this would be a really good sign because we saw the ACoS is too high on this product. Well, maybe we're in the launch stage with this product. We know we're paying a ton per click because we're trying to rank number 1 organically. And so this is actually a good sign because we have something we can optimize later, and that's going to help us optimize the ACoS. So having a high CPC is a good thing to see if your ACoS is too high because it gives you something to work on and optimize when you want to bring that ACoS down. And again here, this range represents the middle 60%. So if we're at the very peak of this, it means we're in the top 20%. Again, not a good thing here because lower is better, but that's what this range means. Now, if you're in the launch stage, it's okay to be in that top 20% if you're hitting the top of this range. But once you get to a maturity stage with your product and you want to optimize, you really want to try and move your CPC within this middle 60% range. That's really going to help you optimize profits. So now that you can see the CPC average for your specific products, how do you actually go about reducing your cost per click? Number one, turn off Bid Plus. If any of you are using Bid Plus, that can raise your bids above what you need to be paying. 2, lower your bids to take a position at the bottom of page 1 or top of page 2. Remember, customers scroll through the results pages. So if you're at the stage where you're organically ranking in the top 5 or 10 already, then you can consider reducing your sponsored listings bid, your ad bid on that keyword. You can start reducing that so you take up position top of page 2, for example, or bottom page 1. This way you're getting more visibility on your offer, you're spreading it out a little bit while paying less per click. 3, start targeting more niche keywords. You will probably get some good data from auto or broad campaigns that you may run at points, or especially in the very beginning. Use the keywords you find there to target those more niche keywords. Those are going to be less competitive and therefore cost you less per click, while raising your organic ranking on those lower competition keywords. There might be less views there, but it's worth ranking there, and it's going to give you that lower cost per click while you still have your organic ranking on those stronger keywords that you've been working on for the past few weeks. Step number 6, this is CTR Performance, or click-through rate performance. Now, click-through rate is one of the most actionable for you, so you really want to look at this closely. It's things you can take action on. And it relates to, out of everyone who saw your listing on that results page, how many of them chose to click on your listing? And so it's represented by clicks divided by impressions. That's how many people saw your listing or had an opportunity to click on it, times 100. And that's going to give you your click-through rate. Now, obviously, we want the highest click-through rate possible because that's one step closer to making the sale. And this is also something that you want to try and improve regardless of ACoS. Now, if we open click-through rate here, we can see that product 1, 4, and 5 are actually poor performers here. These are the ones we could really improve in terms of click-through rate. That's because click-through rate, the higher the better. And on all of these, you can see we're actually below the category average. Number 1's on par, but I think we could definitely improve this. 2 and 3 have higher click-through rates than the category averages. So how do I go about improving my click-through rate? Well, here's a couple things you can do. Number 1 is main image. You want to have a spectacular main image, something that makes people click. I would really suggest split testing main images. Maybe make 2 or 3 really good main images, emphasize the benefits of your product and what people really want, and split test them. Run one for 1 week, then another the next week, and another, and see what happens. Some of them are going to have much higher click-through rate than others. Number 2, add a coupon clipping to your listing. So very easy to create on Amazon. It looks almost like a little bestseller badge, and it creates a lot of intrigue. People generally click through. What's a cool advantage of that is people generally don't apply it before checkout. So you kind of get more click-through rate, but not all of them use it, so you have full price sales. 3, reduce your price. Now, I know not everyone likes this one. It is going to reduce short-term profits, but remember, if you can boost click-through rate and ultimately conversion rate, you make the sale. What's going to happen is you're going to move up your organic ranking, and then you're going to be able to raise that price at will and still make sales. So in the long term, this can be a good strategy. 4, run ads more aggressively. I've seen this a few times where sellers are really trying to optimize their ACoS, they're reducing bids, and their ads are running, say, bottom of page 1. The problem with that is people click the offerings at the top of page 1. So paying that little bit more, being that little bit more aggressive, can really help with your click-through rate because people choose those top offers. And number 5, target more relevant keywords. I see this one often as well. If you're running ads for keywords that are irrelevant or not so relevant to your product, people are going to see those ads. They might even click on it out of interest, but they're not looking to buy. And what happens is you end up with low click-through rates and often quite a high ACoS because those clicks don't convert. You only want to be targeting super relevant keywords. Those are going to give you the highest click-through rate and help you avoid an unnecessarily high ACoS with interest clicks. Make sure whatever is being typed in is by someone really looking to buy your product. And step 7, this is CVR performance or conversion rate performance. Now this is the next step. So out of all those people who did click on your listing, they're now on your listing, they see your bullets and images. How many of those people actually convert to the sale? How many of them actually buy the product as opposed to leaving the listing? That is what conversion rate is. So the way you can work it out is sales divided by clicks times 100. Now conversion rate is the most critical when it comes to ACoS. The reason for that is, remember, Amazon is going to charge you regardless of whether you make the sale or not. They don't care about that. Just that if it gets clicked, you get charged. So the worst position you can be in is with a high click-through rate. You're getting a lot of clicks, but a very low conversion rate. That's the worst position you can be in. So optimizing conversion rate and making sure as many of those clicks as possible turn into sales is the best way to optimize that ACoS and make sure you're only spending on clicks that matter, clicks that are likely going to convert. And once again here, conversion rate's very actionable for us. It's things we can take action on. So let's take a look at conversion rate. So once again, when we expand this one, conversion rate, we can see our products here. Product 1 and product 4 are actually poor performers here. You can see here we want higher. Higher is better for sure with conversion rate. And here we can see we have a lower conversion rate than the category average. The same is true over here. 2 and 3 have very good conversion rates in comparison to their category averages. And number 5 is pretty much on par with the average. It is slightly above, which is good. And since we're talking about customers who are already on our listing, remember they already clicked. We've already dealt with click-through rate. Talking about converting them now. So how do we deal with those customers? Number 1, ensure you have extremely good listing images and bullet points. The first thing with the images is that you want to be really focusing on the benefits those customers are looking for with your specific product. The quicker those come through in the images, the more that customer is going to feel this is exactly what I want, and you give them that extra confidence to buy. Secondly, included here is the bullet points. Make sure those speak of the most important benefits first. That again is going to give them that extra confidence to purchase. So listing content at the top is very, very important. Number 2, have a competitive versus image. Competitive advertising is allowed in the US and UK. So this is something you can do, and it's a way for you to show the benefits of your product that competitors do not have, or even the weaknesses that competitors have. And what you're doing at this point is telling the customer, don't leave this listing. You're not going to find a better offering than this. Other offerings have these problems. Our offering is the best. You're giving them that final confidence to make that leap and purchase your product. Number 3, add video to your listings. If you have this ability or brand registry, you can add videos to your listings. These take time. They can be expensive if you professionally produce them. But as a picture says 1,000 words, a video says 1,000 pictures. It can really convey a lot of trust, authority, credibility, and tell your whole brand story as well. And that's going to convert a lot of buyers at this point. 4, again, coupon clippings come up. These don't only help with click-through rate, they also help with conversion rate because people feel that they're getting a good deal if they apply that coupon clipping. 5, offer a warranty. particularly if your product's a bit more expensive. 6. Fill out your A+ content. That's the specialized content at the bottom of your listing where your description used to be. If you're brand registered, you want to be filling that out. It makes you look credible, gives a lot more information and imagery. It looks very professional, and that can often be that final bit of confidence for the customer to make the purchase. And 7, a lower price is always going to boost CVR as well. And then scrolling down the page here, we can see a similar section for sponsored brands. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this section because not that many of you are focusing on these, and they're often a small percentage of your ad budget. We do also get less data for them, but here again you can see the layout. It's not per product or anything, but it does give you some good insights if you are going to be running these types of ads. And step number 8, this is to take action. Scrolling further down the benchmarker, you can see product analysis here. And I love this section. You can see it quickly shows you all of your products, and then it shows you their ACoS, CVR, CTR, and CPC, and it gives you these indicative color circles. Obviously, red is bad, yellow is middle or average, and green is very good. So that's how you can quickly look at each of your products, look at that ACoS, and look at what you can improve with that product, which I think is really powerful. In one glance, you can see what you need to work on with your products, whether it be the strategies and steps we went through to improve click-through rate or conversion rate, etc. So it's a very handy little dashboard. So when we take action, here is exactly what we need to do if we want to improve ACoS or just sales overall. The first thing is you always want to do this in a specific sequence. Remember, PPC is experimental when you're optimizing this. So if you change more than one variable, let's say you change the price and the main image, and then you see a change, you see your ACoS goes down. The problem is which one caused that change. And so whenever you do this, you want to change one variable at a time. Look at how that changes your overall performance or the metric you're trying to optimize, and then make other changes. So one variable at a time. And this is the order in which you want to optimize these metrics. This is going to be the most efficient, cost-effective, and allow it to build on each other. Number 1, CVR, conversion rate. Number 2, CTR, click-through rate. Number 3 is CPC, cost per click. And number 4, which is usually a byproduct of those first 3, is ACoS, advertising cost of sales. And why would we do it in that order? Well, think about it this way. Why would you improve click-through rate and be paying for all these clicks which then don't convert? Because you haven't optimized conversion rate. So that's one of the reasons for this order. So with number 1, CVR, we make sure this product has the best chance of being bought by those who do click. Then with number 2, CTR, we make sure that those who do see it on the results pages, we give it the best chance of being clicked by those people. Then with number 3, CPC, we optimize where that sponsored listing might be when someone might click on it. And number 4, ACoS, finally. This is usually going to be a byproduct of those first 3 and generally be better if we've optimized the first 3. But here we can also start looking at ACoS by itself and how we can further optimize that. And finally, scrolling to the bottom here, you can see in this take action section, Select allows you to take a couple more steps. The first is you can optimize your account. This actually starts as a free trial for now, and you can get even more details in a more advanced report here. You can also chat with them here if you want them to give you a helping hand and take a look at your metrics for you, or you can join their private Facebook group here as well, which I recommend doing. Remember, link to this benchmarker you can use today for your products is in the pinned comment and the description below. Definitely check it out, completely free, guys. Please do go follow us on Instagram though, would love to see you there. We're sharing infographics which accompany these videos as well. So if you want the full content experience, I really recommend go give us a follow over there. Like this video if it helped you. Remember to subscribe below. Consider joining our membership if you want exclusive content behind the scenes. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next video.